not really. Well, this one's going to be a difficult one to talk about. I think this is going to be probably one of the more challenging of the losses to talk about, just because this one felt like we were just getting punked. But we'll get into it. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this live stream to spend a little bit of time talking Magic with me. You got to do the normal YouTube things like share, post your comments on the live stream. And if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. And we're gonna keep producing content no matter what happens this season, even as frustrating as it could be over the course of the season. So, yeah, this one was a punch in the face, really. Of all the losses, I would say this one was the one that it really felt like there were no answers at all, at all, at all, at all, at all. There we are. It's really difficult for us to stop anybody right now, as you can tell by us giving up over 130 points for the second straight game. 130 points. That just can't happen. It's insanity. And I know the numbers for this first week of the NBA season are really skewed, astronomically weird. That the free throws are run amok. The Magic are averaging over 35 free throws per game, and there's so many teams that are scoring so much more than what they were last year. But still, there has to be a modicum of consensus that everybody knows that you really shouldn't be giving up 132 points, even in today's NBA. And I don't talk about today's as in these last 5 years NBA. I'm talking about today's NBA, the NBA that right now there's a million foul calls and there's a million turnovers and a million different things that are a little different than what they have been in the last few years. But you just can't give up this many points no matter what, and however you're playing and whatever time in the history of the basketball, you can't give up this many points. It really isn't that difficult to know on how to play defense there, especially for a team that hung its hat on defense since Jamal Mosley has gotten here. It's been, I like to call it the play that song era. So in the play that song era, we've never seen our guys just continually just getting beat constantly. So it's not like we're I don't think we're doing anything philosophically different or structurally different. We just don't have the defensive personnel that we once did, it seems, and we're just gonna have to pivot from the style of play that we've always had, and we're gonna have to try and be offensive minded as opposed to defensive minded because at this point, from what's been happening so far, I don't know if there's going to be an easy fix, especially for again the clientele that we have or the personnel that we have on the team to be able to stop any point guard. And as we've seen so far, they got abused by Cade Cunningham. They got abused by Trey Young. They got abused by Tyrese Maxey. And Jalen's been playing for those games, right? So he's not 100% necessarily. We're still seeing him work his way back into game action, but we're not even slowing them down barely, to be honest. And it's to lose your first two road games of the year by giving up over 130 points. That's It's never been done before, I would say. I don't know if it has. I haven't gone through basketball reference yet. Don't worry, I will go into the numbers. You know me. I'm going to try to find that information, but it just is craziness, to be honest. There's not much more really you can say, and we'll go over each one of the player stats. We'll go over a little generally their stats from Detroit, but really this is more of a gut check time for the Magic. Really, there's not much more that can be said now. Last year was a up and down season for the Magic, as we all know. They ended up overall winning 41 games and losing 41 games, but we saw that they had 4 or 5 4-game losing streaks, and they were able to bounce back to at least get to 500. The disappointing part is that's not what the ceiling for this team is supposed to be. That's not what the team is shooting for. We shouldn't be shooting for 41 and 41. We should be shooting for 55 plus wins, 50 wins. Like I know myself included, probably got a little too excited about what the fit could look like on this team and was expecting crazy number of wins. The over under was 50.5. So I guess they knew more. They know what they're doing there in Vegas. But yeah, I was taking the over all day, every day. And thankfully, I don't have enough money to just be blowing on bets because I definitely would have bet the over. And right now, it's not looking very, very great. It's not to say it's the end of the season. We're still very, very early on. We've only played the 5 games. We still have another, you know, this is only what 1/6, let's say, of the season, even less than that. So we still have plenty of time. There is no time to panic in that respect. There is time for urgency though, and I think that's the should be the key thing. I haven't heard Mosley's post game yet, but normally he knows what to say at the end of these press conferences. But really it's gut check time for a lot of the Magic players. The way they played this game was a little strategically seemed a little bit different in that the ball was in Paolo's hands a lot more in that first quarter and Franz's hands, and it wasn't as much in Desmond's hands. But as you'll see, Desmond had either the first or second most shots in the game, and I they told him to be him. Maybe they need to tell him to be a little bit less him because obviously he's a great player and we want him to continue to be him, but he was meant to be more of a secondary ball handler, and it seems that he's acting as the primary ball handler on this team, and that's not really the role I think the Magic had for him. Maybe they did, but that's not something that I expected. I expected him to be more of a secondary ball handler when needed, as opposed to him initiating so much of the offense. And I don't know if that's them trying to ingratiate him into the offense and try to get him integrated and getting him the feel of the offense. But the way he's been playing with as many turnovers as he's had over the course of the first 4 or 5 games, it just isn't going to be feasible for him to be the primary ball handler. And maybe it worked in Memphis, but it's not working right now on the Magic. So the ball needs to go back into Paolo and Franz's hands. Really, ideally, it wouldn't go into AB's hands either because AB, again, maybe not in this game. I'm going to look at the stats here in a moment, but still, it's AB's been turning the ball over way too much as well. Desmond Bain and AB have both been turning the ball over way too much so far at the beginning of the season. So they might have to reconfigure who is the primary ball handler in the starting lineup and who ends up being the primary ball handler in the off the bench because Tyus's minutes have started to dwindle, as if you've noticed, little by little over the course of these first few games, and it just might be because he's been left behind in the NBA. The NBA, as I record this now, is a very different NBA than what he's played in so far in his career, and maybe he just can't play in this NBA unfortunately anymore. So especially if he's not going to hit his 3 pointers, because that's where we thought, at least I thought, and I said in his player profile that if you check my channel on Tyus, that yeah, he might get picked on defense a little bit, but he should be able to score enough on the offensive end that it at least evens out a little bit. But at this point, he's gone super cold. He just hit his first three for the Magic this year, so he's 1 of 9, I think it is, over the course of the year. That's not good enough to warrant a lot of playing time, and that unfortunately will likely shorten some of the rotations. When if the Magic are going to continue to play fast, they need to continue to widen their rotation at least a little bit. And now we see that Noah's starting to get onto the court, so we'll see what the rotations continue to evolve, because that's what it seems like every day. The rotation has been a little bit different. This is the second one in a row that Noah's gotten into the game early on, and then he ended up playing in the second half, which he didn't in the first game or yet in the last game. So we'll see if that's going to be the normal rotation, and he needs to be more aggressive offensively as well. Like, I know he hangs his hat on defense, which is great. We need guys that hang their hat on defense. And Ji got into the game a little bit earlier in the fourth quarter than he had been, and unfortunately by then it was too late, and by then the Pistons had caught fire, so there wasn't much for Ji to do. But there might be some big changes to this roster later on in the season, and we'll see what the rotations are going to be like for tomorrow's game because it's the NBA. You don't have any time to rest, and hopefully they're able to eke out a win because we need to start winning games. We really can't be losing ground in the Eastern Conference. So even if we're not going to have 55 wins or we're not going to have these high gaudy numbers, we still don't want to be the sixth seed. We don't want to be the fifth seed. We want to continue to work towards having home court advantage, which was last year's goal. And now our goals were way loftier at the beginning of the year, but maybe that could just be what we do now and start to kind of figure out how we want to play a little bit different or manage expectations, at least make them smaller. And I know we're the ones that do season long goals when the teams are normally just trying to get better. And as the Magic mentioned, they want to stack wins or stack days, and right now they're stacking days, but I don't know what exactly they're learning from each individual day. I guess they're learning what doesn't work. Maybe that's a good thing that we realize what doesn't work now and we're not dealing with it in the playoffs. So this team has way too much talent, and we've been playing against shorthanded teams. Not in this game, but in the previous games, we've been playing against shorthanded teams, and we're pretty healthy and we're losing to these shorthanded teams. So a lot of soul searching that's going to have to happen, and the noise around Mosley is just going to continue to increase because there's not much more that Weltman could have given him, or at least put on the table for him to play with or to use to try to win games. And again, maybe the way we've played defense has worked in the past because we've had different personnel. We had a KCP, we had a Gary Harris, we had a different Jalen. Maybe this is a different Jalen right now because he's not fully healthy, fully in the games as of yet. We had JI playing more. So we just had more defense first guys that now we are lacking because JI doesn't play. Jalen's integrating back into the team. Gary Harris is gone. KCP is gone. Right. So there, in the end, that just might be the reality, and we will have to figure something out. Figure something out offensively. Really, offensively, it's the turnovers, as we've talked about multiple times on my post games so far. So if you want to go back and listen to all of them, it really would end up sounding like a broken record, to be honest. So you can listen to this one, and I think you'll get the gist. Ultimately, it's all about turnovers. This isn't the NFL, but just like in the NFL, you worry about your giveaways and your takeaways, right? So right now we're giving the ball away way too much, over 20 turnovers, multiple games, and that's why we've lost those games. We're not shooting our free throws. We're missing our free throws. We're getting there at a crazy number, and we're just missing so many of them. And Paulo was shooting pretty well, and Franz for some reason is lost his free throw touch. He gained his 3-point touch a little bit, but now is losing his free throw touch. So I don't know which you would want to take in that scenario, but I guess that's something that's happening right now for whatever reason, and it just feels different, right? And last year, some of those losing streaks, a lot of them didn't have Jalen, and this one does have Jalen, but it doesn't feel like the same Jalen right now. And again, I don't know if that's just him not being at his 100% self. He's playing at 85%, but wanting to be out there for his brothers because they're getting smoked really. But right now, really, he's not even doing a good enough job of staying in front of guys so that our bigs don't have to commit. And once our bigs are committing, that's why we're giving up so many offensive rebounds. And that's what was happening in the early part of this game when we were actually doing a pretty good job defensively on Detroit. We were keeping them to a low percentage, and then little by little they kept chipping away at the lead because of the second chance points, and they were able to eventually start to muscle their way into. It feels like they tired out the Magic over the course of the game by just continuing to beat on them over the course of the game, and like the referees can't call every single foul, and I guess that's just the way they were playing, and that's the way the Magic has played in the past, and just again, for whatever reason, that's just not where they are right now. They're not stout enough offensively, especially on the on the front line by the with the guards not being able to slow down penetration at all. And some of it has to do with the fast-paced nature of the NBA in literally right now in these in these first weeks. But it also, I think, is too many fouls. They had over 30 free throws in this game. We had over 40 free throws in this game, but it's too many free throws on either end, really. The NBA should look at that and start to kind of question why there's so many free throws. And I think that has contributed to the lofty numbers on offense for the league is just so many free throws, and teams are getting an extra 10, 15 points on the free throw line because 3-point shots don't really it doesn't really feel like guys are shooting crazy amount of three pointers, at least on the Magic, because of course when you play the Magic, normally the Magic are good at making sure you're not shooting that many threes, but even then it doesn't feel like an insane amount of threes that are happening. So a lot to say that the Magic are just getting beat down now. They're just getting beat up. And that's not what we're used to. That's why I was surprised in this game that, yeah, there was a double technical for Paulo, just kind of trash talking with Tobias, but no one took a hard foul. No one did anything really to kind of install our like showing that we're there to fight. We just took it the whole night, and that wasn't really the Magic. So like if Mo was in the game, I could see Mo kind of trash talking, maybe taking a foul, a nice hard foul, and then there might be a fight because it's Detroit. But it still would have been somebody like even Goga. I thought Goga might be the one to take a nice hard swipe down on Jalen Duren or on one of their guys just to kind of again make them feel us. But they didn't feel us. We scored 135 points, 135 points to Detroit. I don't really know, what really more else to say other than the defense has to be better. And if the defense is not going to be better, then it's going to be a long, long, long season. And with us not having a draft pick this year, it's going to be disastrous for us, let's just say, in more ways than one. And there would likely be some changes. Not only likely, unfortunately, Mosley might take the brunt of it, especially if the drum beat ends up getting more and more and more over the course of the season if the Magic continue to flounder. But I think he's a good enough coach. I think he can really work with the guys. He's a player's coach, so hopefully he's getting through to the guys the urgency of the situation right now, because they did play better at the beginning of this game. The offense was working and clicking. It just eventually their defense wasn't good enough, and it has to be good enough, or in the end, that'll just be it. There's not much more that they'll be able to do. So that is that for them. Now, if we look at the stats for the game for each one of the guys, Franz Wagner had 22 points in 33 minutes, shooting 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. So he's been shooting threes pretty well this year. So that's been a good sign. Only 7 of 11 from the free throw line. Like that's he's been shooting very poorly for him, like for his standard from the free throw line. Only 63% in this game. Not great. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block for his 22 points. Paulo with in 34 minutes shot 7 of 14, excuse me, 7 of 16 from the field. So another non-efficient day for Paulo. 0 of 3 from 3, and I think he's getting in his head a little bit about the threes. Like he airballed at least 1 3 and was real short in the second one. So he needs to be able to hit a couple threes right now. With this 0 for 3, he was already shooting only 19% from three already this year, and I think that's the concern for Paulo fans, which are all of us, yeah, he got his 24 points, but 10 of them were from the free throw line, shooting 10 of 17 from the free throw line, but 7 of 16 every game. He hasn't been over 50% in many games this year, if at all. it's just not where it needs to be for this team to succeed. But he had a double double again, so he's doing his job. Maybe not offensively, not in his efficiency, and not with his ability to score as we've known from him. But he's been rebounding and he has been blocking shots. So he had 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Those were mostly early when the Magic were on fire from three. One steal, one block. So we get another block for Paolo, but 4 turnovers leads the team. I still would rather have him with the ball. And if we go down with Paolo, if we go down with Franz, then I'm down for that. For me, I'm totally okay with that as an organization because that's who we have put our put all our money behind those horses, and that was his 24 points. Wendell Carter had a rough day. Like he was getting abused on the boards, especially early on in his 15 minutes because he fouled out. He shot 3 for 3 and 2 for 2 from 3 point land. So we didn't play horribly, let's say, with the ball. Just he only ended up with 2 rebounds, and I think that was the issue. He was giving up too many offensive rebounds, and Detroit is a good offensive rebounding team. That's no shame to an extent for him to be giving up offensive rebounds. It just feels like it was so many offensive rebounds. And again, it didn't feel like he was making them feel him. There was a couple times even when he was on defense and they just kind of ran through him, and then he got the foul weirdly. But again, the older Wendell, I feel would have kind of talked a little bit more and made them feel him a bit more, and that just wasn't the case today. 1 assist, a couple turnovers for Wendell. Desmond Bain, 12 points on 4 of 15 shooting. Again, he has more shots than Franz. It's only one shot this game. It's not like last game where it was multiple shots, but still, he should not be shooting more than Franz. That just is what it is. I understand we've got him to score, and that's great, but the ball should be in Franz's hands. Franz has more of an opportunity to take advantage of mismatches than Desmond Bain does. Desmond Bain is an incredible shooter. We should be having him out, flanked out, ability to catch and shoot with confidence. That should be who Desmond Bain is for the Orlando Magic. And right now, he's not. Right now, he's initiating the ball most of the time. He's the one that will take and go and at least make a quick decision. To be fair to him, he'd make the quick decision, but he'll pump fake and then take it in and get the 2 points, or at least try to get the 2 points. As we saw in this game, he gets blocked a lot. I talked about it in his player profile that he needs to create space because of his wingspan deficiency, that he needs to always be very shifty and creative and trying to get his layups to go because it's difficult for him because of his deficiency, because of his wingspan. And as we saw in this game, he got blocked like 3 times at the rim. Like it was bad. It wasn't like in the last couple games where he was able to get all the way to the rim and get them to go. In this one, it just wasn't working. And to his credit, he kept shooting from the field. But as you see, he ended up in 15 shots. He only shot 4 3 pointers. He only shot 4 3 pointers. We got him to shoot threes. Like this game, in the end, we played a team that doesn't shoot a lot of threes either. So we lucked out in that respect because if they were a 3 point shooting team and they were hitting 3 point shots, then we would have lost by even more and we would have given up 150 points. But normally, because of Desmond not shooting threes these first few games, because he's not shooting threes, we're at a math disadvantage. It's the same disadvantage we had all last year. Was we are going to score twos. Normally, we do a good job of getting in the paint. We're able to finish in the paint. Right now, we're also not finishing in the paint, but that's what we did last year. But we just couldn't shoot threes last year. So what did we do? We went and got another 3 point shooter. KCP didn't work out. So now we went and got Desmond Bain. And this time, same thing. He ends up shooting more 2 pointers than 3 pointers. And that's not what we need. We need somebody to shoot 30% of his field goals from the inside the arc, and then the other 70, if it's 30-70, from the 3 point range. And he's inverse that, as you see, 11 shots from inside the arc and only 4 from behind the arc. And We need him to shoot threes. We need a 3-point shooter. That's what we've needed for years now. And if he's not going to shoot threes, then his defense is not good enough to warrant us playing him the way he is now. We have no other options, to be honest. Like we'll have to play him, and he's a great player. So hopefully this doesn't sound like I don't want us to play him. He needs to play because he's gonna play. We need him to shoot threes because that's just what we need. We need the geometry. We need the space. As we saw a couple times later on in that second half, Franz was taking the ball to the basket so often that after a while they were able to time when he was going to be there. So the help defender was able to block his shot a few times, and that's because there was no space because we weren't shooting threes anymore. We were only driving constantly, and we have to shoot threes. If we don't shoot threes, then it's going to be a very long season and we're going to have to grind out wins. That's how we won last year by grinding out wins. This year, I don't know if we have it in us to grind out wins. So we'll see. So again, Desmond has to shoot threes. I'm something like a broken record. Sorry, but it's just the reality of the situation. He did hit his three free throws. Good on him. And again, he's trying to contribute. So he has 5 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 turnover in this game, which is great because he's been a turnover machine so far this year. So good on Desmond for at least getting to 12 points, getting those 5 rebounds, but 15 shots to get 12 points. We need more from him. We need more from him. Then up to Jalen. Jalen again in his 20 minutes, he's 104. Jalen is really settling into his new role of being the fourth option, and he's doing a good job of at least normally being pretty efficient. In this game, only 4 shots for Jalen. That's not great either. We definitely need Jalen to be more involved on the offensive end, especially if he's not going to be the defensive stopper that we've grown to love. He's the heart of the team. We need him to be that engine, to be that spirit, to be that energy that we're currently missing right now. So hopefully Jalen's able to stay on the court. A lot of the times it's also because of fouls, to be honest. Like Jalen is playing too amped, so he needs to harness all that emotions and be able to focus it and do better at maybe he's the one that needs to start initiating a bit more offense, or he needs to be the one to if he's going to totally abandon scoring, then he just needs to go 100% balls to the wall defense and just creating some havoc against the other guards because really right now it's like they're 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 getting to the rim at will right now, and it's really affecting everything that happens, whatever happens on our defense. So Jalen 1 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from three, 5 of 5 from the free throw line for his with 2 rebounds and 5 assists, but his 2 turnovers foreshadow or overshadow a little bit his 2 steals and his 1 block. So he ended up with 8 points on there. But as you see, the plus minus, he's one of the few guys that have a positive plus. It's just he's not playing enough to really have a huge impact on the game right now. And we can't really wait for him to be able to play 30 minutes a game because we don't know how that's going to affect his body as it is, and we also just don't know if he has it in him for any time soon. And again, we can't wait. Right now, we need to start action. We need to start acting, and we need to start making changes so that we have a bit more urgency as a club. AB. 24 minutes, 10 points, 3 of 10 shooting, 1 of 6 from three, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. That's better for him. I know that doesn't sound great, but it's better for him. He's been shooting only about 61% from the free throw line, and his 3-point percentage is going to take a hit, but it's good that he was aggressive and he continued to shoot the 3-point shots because if you look at him versus Desmond, right, he shot 6 of his 10 shots from 3-point range. So that means he went 2 of 4 from inside the arc. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have somebody being aggressive and taking the shot that's given to them because Desmond has opportunities to shoot. He just is choosing to go mid range or try to get to the basket. And AB did a good job of shooting those threes. He didn't make as many. He was shooting about 38%, like I said. And now it's going to take a bit of a hit, but I want AB shooting more 3-pointers and continuing to be aggressive. So that's fine. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 1 steal. He needs to be our 3/D guy, as I've mentioned. I think it was in the halftime of the play-by-play commentary that he needs to be no longer our primary ball handler for our second unit. Unfortunately, now it just might have to be him. I would say giving Tristan more opportunity to be that ball handler, but AB, it seems they're really going to continue to have him be the primary ball handler when Tyus is not on the court. And it hasn't been going well for him this year. We're only 5 games in, but it just two more turnovers in this one. He had five a couple games ago, four the one before that. Like it's just been real bad for AB so far, but he can continue to shoot threes, slash, and play D. He can be our 3/D moving forward because that's basically what he has been most of his career because his shot hasn't really been the most reliable, but I have confidence in it this year and he will shoot better from three. Just was an off game in the end. Noah Penda got into the game with 4 points on 2 of 3 shooting. We ended up with 2 offensive rebounds for his 2 rebounds and 1 turnover. That was pretty much it. Noah was in there to play defense. We needed somebody to try and play defense. Now, Cade got him on one, as well as Tobias Harris. They got him on one. But once he continues to get his reps, once he continues to get his mind and body into the NBA, then I think he's going to be a very good on ball defender. So I think it's just a matter of time. And we needed to do something with the rotation. And he seems to be the new guy that's going to come out earlier in the first quarters and in this half and in the second half he played a lot more than he had in the Philadelphia game. So Noah is just going to be that guy. Unfortunately, Noah, he hasn't been able to get his 3 point right, so that's not going to be the most helpful. So we don't have a 3 and D in that one. It's just going to be more D. And really, at this point, we need some D only guys as opposed to offensive only. So, or offensive minded. We need some more defensive minded guys because it's just been that poor on defense that JI might just have to play moving forward. Even if Noah did a pretty good job, JI is a better defender than Noah, or at least has been in his past, and maybe he's washed, and that's why they haven't put him in the games at all, and he hasn't been given that opportunity. I know it's partially because of his offense, but we need defense. We need somebody to play defense, and Goga isn't at the level that he has been in years past for whatever reason. So maybe JI also isn't going to be at that level, but we have to see it more. We already see that Goga has been a bit slow on rotations and hasn't been getting those blocks that he did last year. We haven't seen enough of JI to make that final verdict. So maybe he'll get some run in the next game because next game against Charlotte is going to be difficult. Like we cannot overlook anybody right now. We're not playing well enough. So we'll see on that one. But that's Noah Penda. Tristan did a great job. Tristan, as I mentioned in previous videos, Tristan and AB are the heartbeat of the bench. So they are the ones that need to be the driving force. They're the engines. They have to do everything, unfortunately, because Tyus is not playing well. JI's out of the rotation. That means there's a rookie that's up there, and Goga, for whatever reason, is not playing up to his standards, or at least the standards we had put on him going into the season after such a great Eurobasket. So it has to be Tristan and AB carrying all the weight. And Tristan, 4 out of the 5 games, has been present, has been making an imprint in each one of those games. So really exciting for Tristan in that respect. So in his 20 minutes, he scored 15 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from three. He's a 3 point shooter now. That's what he is. They have to continue to get him to shoot his threes. So good on Tristan. So 3 of 6 from 3 point land, no free throws, 3 rebounds, and that's all. He's not going to have a lot of counting stats just because of where he plays now. He's not gonna get that many rebounds, especially if they don't have the ball in his hands. He's gonna end up just having to shoot, and I think we should put the ball in Tristan's hands a little bit more and not have AB initiate as much of the offense. But we'll see what the coaching staff has in store. Goga ended up with 10 points, so it was one of the season highs for Goga. 5 of 5 from the field. A lot of those were an offensive rebound putbacks for his 6 rebounds, 2 assists, no steals, 1 block. He was able to get that one with 4 fouls for him. Yeah, he was just getting beat off the dribble as well. Like Jalen Duran was able to bait him in a couple of fouls, and it's a bit surprising. Goga, I thought his footwork had gotten a lot better last year, and again in EuroBasket he played better. And so far this year, his foot speed has just been a little bit slow, and because of that, he's not getting to those blocks, and he's been getting beat off the dribble a few too often, and that's really why even our bench unit hasn't been able to stop anybody really. Jace and Jet ended up getting into the game for the last little bit. Really not much going. We know Jet is always ready to shoot, so he went 0 for 2, 0 of 1 from 3. He ended up getting a rebound and I think a turnover as well. Yeah, he ended up with a turnover. And Jace, all he really contributed was an assist and also a turnover for Jace. So we ended up with 16 turnovers. So that's better than what it has been with our 20 plus turnovers in a couple of our games. So 16 turnovers, obviously still not great. As a team, we shoot 46% overall, 38% from three. As I've said before, I think we're going to shoot about 36, 37% from three and 38% from three. Last year, when the Magic would shoot 32, 33%, they would win all their games. So we can't even within 19 of another team, even though we hit 12 3 pointers and shot 39% when you round up. So we might end up being able to shoot better this year than last year, and it may not matter if the defense isn't able to be rectified anytime soon. We shot 70% from the free throw line, shooting 40 free throws, 28 to 40. If we would have had those 12 points, it still wouldn't have mattered. So that's not really a reason why we lost. It's definitely still on the defense as well as our turnovers. 52 rebounds overall, 22 assists on 38 field goals wasn't isn't too bad. It's better than what we've had in the past. We had a 12 assist game recently, I think. So in that respect, it's not so bad. We ended up with 4 steals in this game, but that's still less than what we averaged through much of the season last year. We got 5 blocks and the 16 turnovers and 27 fouls, which is higher than our average. If we look real quick at Detroit with 3 guys over 20 points. Cade Cunningham with 30, 30, 10, and 6, or 36 and 10. 30 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. Uh, Jalen Duran, 20 and 12. And Tobias Harris, 23, 2 and 4. Asar Thompson almost with a triple, not almost with a triple double, but also had a double double with 12 points, 11 rebounds. So we got smoked. Pretty much no way around it. They shot about 50%, 40% from three. So we still lose the 3 point shot to them. They shot 32 three pointers. We shot 31. So, like I said, they're not a big 3 point shooting team as well. But so in that way, we didn't lose that much ground. But so then you kind of wonder like where is it then? Like what happened? Was it just the offensive rebounds? They had 14 offensive rebounds to our 15. We had more offensive rebounds. We ended up with 6 less rebounds in total. They had 29 assists on their 46 shots, but they had 46 makes and we had 38 makes, right? So they ended up with 10 more shots because of turnovers and offensive rebounds. So they only ended up with 12 turnovers over the course of the game. That right there, again, we're minus in turnovers. We're minus in always. We've been minus in turnovers basically every one of the games at this point. And just like in the NFL, if you give away the ball more than you're able to take away, you're just not going to win. And that's just the way it is. So 135 points we gave up to the Detroit Pistons. And we'll see, do they have any of the other advanced stats just as of yet? Let's just take a quick peek. We have that there. Do we have any of the advanced stats yet? No, the advanced stats are not there yet. So that is pretty much that. So Another disappointing loss. There's not much more we really can say other than the defense just has to be better. And if the defense is not going to be better, there's really not much point in investing so much of our emotions into it. We can still have victories. We're still going to win games. We're still going to continue to really push forward and really want the team to succeed. But ultimately, in the end, if you're not able to stop anybody, which has always been the fun of liking this team, you're able to watch them play such stifling defense that it really gets you amped. Right now, there's very low ampage for whatever reason, and if that doesn't change, then really it's going to be a lost season, and we don't even have a bunch of injuries to point to be like, oh, okay, well, all right, Paolo's been out for X amount of games. All right, Franz has been out for X amount of games, and Jalen's been out for X amount of games. Jalen's missed one game. The rest of our team has been healthy, and we're still getting beat. And that's disconcerting, especially when you see all the injuries around the NBA, and teams are having to survive through them, just like we did last year. But if we don't have Paolo or Franz on this team to really drive our offense, then we don't have the defense at all to be able to stop anybody. So then we're not going to even be able to cobble together wins like we did last year. And I think that's going to be the big concern for us moving forward. And that's really much that is what it is. And now we go on to Charlotte. We continue this. It's a 5 game road trip. We're only 2 games in, and we've given up over 130 points. And Charlotte has the capability of scoring 130 points, right? So will we give up another 130 points to Charlotte and end up losing to Charlotte, which we have done in the past? So no disrespect to Charlotte, but this was the team that had championship aspirations, and we're already at 1-4, and might lose to Charlotte, and hopefully they get on a streak. As I mentioned last year, we were streaky. We lost 5 in a row at different points in the season last year, but we won 6 in a row at other points in the season. So hopefully we're able to start to build, and we're able to start to continue to build momentum. Right now, there's no momentum. We got negative momentum. We got to stop the negative momentum and start to slowly push the rock the opposite direction. And we'll see if that's something that they're going to be able to do. So your guess is as good as mine. We're gonna figure it out, and I'll end up I'll end up putting out a video tonight of the analysis of the previous 4 games before this one, and then in the next couple days, if I'm able to find time, then I'll put together a bit more on the this game as well as Charlotte, and hopefully it's not another 130 points hung on us, and we basically are just showing how the team is just getting run over left and right. So let's fingers crossed that we find something defensively, schematically, because right now I think in the end we just don't have the horses on the defensive end to be able to slow down people, especially point guards. And guess who we're playing tomorrow? One of the more creative point guards in the NBA, and one of the better shooting point guards in the NBA in LaMelo Ball. So they're without Brandon Miller, I believe. But like I said, we're losing to teams already that are shorthanded. So again, we can't take anything for granted. And I hope that the Magic have that sense of urgency. Body language doesn't look good. So I'm sure you'll hear them talking really low in the press conference, and they will, they will be remorseful. It'll sound like, but they have to do something. They have to show action in the next game, because really if we're going to play Atlanta, I think still on this road trip, and if we start losing even more to our division rivals, because we have both Charlotte and Washington, I believe, which are division rivals, so we're playing a lot of our division games early, which is different than last year. Then we can't even win our division. It's just going to be a disappointing season overall, but I think we're going to be able to turn it around. I know I sound a bit low right now, but that's only because it's I'm a realist, and looking at what's happening right now, you it's not like you're waiting for somebody to come back from injury that's going to help our defense. Mo will help our offense when he comes back on from injury, but he's not going to really help our defense. So we need help on defense, and we need to find a way to slow these guys down in the NBA right now. So it's either we hope that that memo comes from the league again and kind of tells people, tells the referee to simmer down on all the whistles, and we're able to play a bit more handsy. But I don't even think that's really where the problem is. So it's really just the turnovers. We're turning the ball over too much, and we're not taking the ball away from the other team, which was our superpower on our defense last year, and that's nowhere to be found right now. So your guess is as good as mine of what's happening. It's really us just getting blown by and our defense being compromised, and I don't really see how that's going to stop because the NBA is full of great point guards, and that's going to be something that will be a challenge every single night in the NBA. So hopefully they get together, they try to figure something out so that we are able to get back into the win column after that first game of the season. So let me know what you think in the comments, and yikes, just yikes ultimately. So hopefully we have a better day tomorrow and we're able to again come out with a victory, and I will be doing this all over again tomorrow. So thank you very much for clicking on this live stream. Again, this is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan, do the normal YouTube things, like, share, hit that subscribe if you want to do so. And want to thank you very much for clicking on this live stream and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. I hope you're having a great day or a great night.